Hey everyone, it's been 7 days since my last video, and I must confess, it looks like it's been 14 days because the Toronto police made me remove the last one. Also, I haven't been raped. Now, before I get into this week's subject, I want to address the people who miss seeing my person live in the video recording. To those people, I'd like to offer you a much better alternative to looking at my face on camera. There is a fabulous comic which has a character based on me, and she's much more fun to watch because she knows Kung Fu. I know Kung Fu. I know Kung Fu. Damn. No one can say that line as completely deadpan as Keanu Reeves. So check out Quantum Vibe by artist Scott Bieser and see how many other YouTubers you recognize from his alternate universe. Links are below. So what I want to talk about this week is the Raped Women Project in Israel. Yes, that's the name of an actual social project. And the organizer, Mori, got caught. I find it really fun that his last name is Moral. It's as funny as social justice warriors using the word justice. Anyway, this is the story. Israel National News published on March 15th, 2016, that Zionist Party PR man Mori was fired from his position after having been found by the Israel Supreme Court to have organized false rape allegations against lawyer Yuri Daniel. Morrill called this campaign the Raped Women Project. So how did this happen? A quick summary of the case is that Mr. Daniel was a member of a cult group, and after leaving the group, 4 women accused him of rape. The police investigated and found the allegations were fabricated, maliciously. The women were ordered to pay Mr. Daniel the equivalent of $300,000. They launched a Supreme Court case to overturn the judgment against them, at which point they acquired Mr. Morrill's assistance. So the motivation was that Yuri Daniel had left their cult. This group has been criticized for brainwashing their members. Specifically, one woman who left found her daughter making endless allegations of abuse towards her. Her daughter remained in the cult. The discovery of this plot was helped by Mr. Daniel being a lawyer. If he hadn't been, he might well be in jail, and we'd never have found out about the Raped Women Project. I don't think I'll ever get tired of saying that. Yes, it was actually the official name of a thing designed by a guy named Moral. Let's find out how it worked. Moral's Raped Women Project included steps such as confessions by fictitious figures on the social networks, claiming they were raped by Daniel, articles in the press with testimony from the complainants, complaints submitted against Daniel to the Israel Bar Association's Ethics Committee, and protests coordinated with the media in front of Daniel's office that included signs reading, "Rapist in the Office." I want people to keep this professional PR man's project in mind whenever you hear multiple victim allegations in the news and on social media. Also keep in mind that journalists are PR people for accusers. There's a reason this wasn't called "Have a Woman Accuse Daniel of Rape" project, because why have just one? They want lots of them, power in numbers. We see this more and more. It's in fact a growing trend. Why have one woman accuse a man of rape when you can have 4 or 23? Not all of the accusers need to actually press charges. They're just there to bolster the public belief that he's guilty. And the protesters aren't that difficult to rally, especially after you get the accusations published in the media. And that's not all that hard to do anymore either. What you don't see in the article about how the Supreme Court found Mori to have coordinated false accusers is that he was charged with the crime. He wasn't, as far as I can tell. He just got fired. Why wouldn't Mr. Morrill or the 4 Raped Women Project liars be facing criminal charges? From another Israel National News article published a few days later, March 21st, 2016, Sex Crimes, Prosecution Believes in Collective Male Guilt. A new study sponsored by the Colette Forum has revealed that false rape accusations make up between 15% and 40% of rape accusations, and not just 2%, as the Israeli public has been told for years by some legal experts and gender movement activists. The study also pointed to a policy of extreme lenience by the state attorney's office and state prosecution toward women who file false allegations against men. Furthermore, the prosecution's response to the study indicated an approach that sees Israel's male population as bearing collective guilt for the crimes perpetrated by sex offenders. The study was carried out by Dr. Yoav Maza, head of the Family, Equality, and Law Research Center at the Ono Academic Center. It found that even when a complainant had been found to be lying with the sole aim of causing damage to the accused, the prosecution will rarely file charges against her, and if it does, the punishment it asks the court to mete out will be very light. Collective punishment. That is what people are talking about when they say that false accusers shouldn't be punished because so many women really do get raped. Collective punishment is what they are talking about when people say false accusers shouldn't be prosecuted because it will have a chilling effect on women who aren't lying. I don't know why a person who is telling the truth would be afraid of reporting a crime because someone who was lying got caught. Truth tellers aren't lying, therefore, they need not worry about being caught lying. I also don't know why we are told women don't lie because it's too difficult to relive the trauma of rape. When a woman is lying, there was no trauma. She won't be reliving it because it never happened. All right, moving on. Prosecution believes in collective punishment. The prosecution responded to the study's findings by saying that it adopts a careful approach before filing charges against a complainant who recants a complaint because the unique characteristics of the offenses and the consequences for the victim, and also in view of the estimate that the number of victims of this kind of offense is much larger than the number of complaints that are actually filed. The latter part of the response indicates the startling fact that the prosecution admits it is enabling false complaints, but does so out of a vindictive policy that sees Israeli men as bearing collective guilt for sex crimes committed in the country. Individuals charged with crimes are charged as individuals, not as members of a class of people. If a woman says she was raped, we don't just grab a guy off the street and charge him with the crime because he is also male. When a woman files false allegations, she doesn't do so on behalf of all women. She does this as an individual, making a choice to lie about someone either for personal gain or to harm her target. We cannot treat the accused as merely a member of their gender class. They must be treated as individuals with the right to not be falsely accused. On March 24th of 2016, due to mounting pressure in Israel to protect men from the growing number of false allegations, the defense minister made the following changes to their Prosecution Instruction 2.5, which previously deterred prosecution of women who falsely report with the intent to harm. The change was thus: as a rule, if there is suspicion that a person has purposely made false charges in order to harm another in the context of a criminal offense, the prosecutor will transfer the matter to police investigation. If, however, the intent is to mislead, but not in the context of a criminal offense, the tendency will still be to launch an investigation subject to the following conditions. The witness lied knowingly. The lie was material and had potential to influence the process. The lie was exposed due to an external element and not when the witness recanted willingly due to remorse. Item 11 in the new formulation states, to the extent that the statement caused or could have caused serious damage to the suspect, to the defendant, or another person, or to public interests, the tendency to launch an investigation shall increase. For instance, if a false complaint caused the suspect to be arrested, to be distanced from his children, or to have any other meaningful limitation placed upon him, which turned out to be unjustified in hindsight, the tendency to launch an investigation shall increase. This is a great example for democratic countries who value the rights of their citizens to be free from malicious prosecution. It shows a rejection of having the justice system used for wrongful purposes to harm the lives of innocent people. That seems like a good thing to me. I don't think any justice system has the claim to that title while they allow themselves to be tools of vindictive liars. And women most certainly can be vindictive.
Really, what it comes down to is we just wanted him to feel a little bit of humiliation. That's it. That's it.
The obvious result of making it easier for women to make false accusations is that the rate of rape reports will go up and the rate of convictions will go down. While it might have been true in the past that it was difficult for women to make false allegations, that is no longer true. Thanks to rape shield laws and anonymity for accusers, it's increasingly easier for women to falsely accuse. Hell, they don't even need to go to the police. They just need to find a reporter who #believes for the thrill of a juicy story. In fact, why risk an actual investigation or fact-finding mission into your claims when you can just get a reporter to vouch for your credibility? As another Israeli article notes, over the past few months, there have been 3 separate instances of famous and powerful people who were accused of various degrees of sexual harassment. Former Knesset member Yinon Magel, former minister Silvan Shalom, and the highly regarded actor Moshe Ivki. No rape charges were filed against any of them, and in the case of Magel and Shalom, complaints weren't even lodged with the police. Nevertheless, all 3 of them found themselves under massive public and media pressure, much of it propelled by social media, and all 3 of them resigned their positions in a matter of days. Ivgi canceled his onstage performances. Coverage of their particular cases was unequivocal and decisive. So, while I'm happy Israel has changed their law regarding prosecuting false accusers, women know they can still get the result they want by just avoiding the police altogether. Why bother with a trial when you can just destroy people in the court of public opinion? No rape shield laws are necessary. You just need a reporter willing to grant you anonymity and publish that you are credible. Says who? How credible is the journalist? How do they expect us to know if the accuser is credible when all the details are hidden from us? The story is, in fact, crafted specifically to prevent us from investigating ourselves. I think the public needs to get smarter. The public needs to realize that they are being used. The goal of false accusers is to humiliate and disgrace their target. They don't necessarily want him in jail. They just want to destroy his life, without a fair trial, without any trial, and without ever having to tell us who we are being asked to believe. We, the public, are being used as a weapon. It's time to start prosecuting false accusers.